Yo, what's up, guys? Let's discuss the halving that's coming up in like 10 or so days of the Bitcoin halving, and whether it will have the same effect as in the past. And obviously this time around, this cycle will be a little bit different. Bitcoin has become more institutionalized. It has been institutionalized for a while, but right now with the spot ETFs, making Bitcoin more accessible to normies and people who don't believe in crypto as much as the crypto enthusiasts do, and making it more accessible in a sense where they don't have to own Bitcoin, but they can still participate in its demand and price action. So spot ETFs are in the picture, and what has happened right now before this halving is that we've reached an all-time high before the halving. And this is something that really hasn't happened before. It's never happened before. Every time we've had a halving, we've always had the all-time high come way later. For instance, I'm going to show you the chart in the next slide. For instance, in 2016, we had a halving, of course. I think that was the second halving, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, supposed to be the second halving. And 500 or so days after that halving, we had the all-time high. Same thing happened in 2020. We had a halving, and then 500 to 600 days after that, we had the all-time high. But right now, we've had an all-time high. I think it reached 73.3K USD at some point. We're not up there yet at the moment, per today's date. But we reached an all-time high before the halving. And that says a lot about what I think is going to happen in the future. And I'm thinking about, like, is the main move of BTC for this bull run already priced in? I do think it's going to go higher. I don't know exactly where it's going to go. Maybe it reaches 100K, maybe a little bit over. But I think it's going to maybe go somewhere around that range, but it's impossible to know exactly where it's going to go. It all depends on what the demand is going to be and how far the price is going to get pushed up. But having an all-time high before the halving tells me that the main move is priced in, but at the same time, maybe this cycle is, as many anticipated, to be a super cycle. Maybe we've barely begun with BTC. Maybe it's going to go way higher, up towards 150K, maybe even up to 200K. But I mean, that is a bold bet. You never know how far it's going to go. It may just go to barely 100K and stop there and, enter the bear market. A lot of people also think this bull market will be way shorter than prior bull markets. And many people anticipate this bull market to end sooner than prior ones have. Because again, the prior ones, from the halving and onwards, they lasted for 500 to 600 days. And again, I'm going to show you the graph and what that looks like, just to give you some perspective. But obviously, after the halving, we're going to see quite a lot of consolidation before we go higher with BTC. That was even the case of prior bull runs and prior halvings, where we had at least 100 days, I think, after halving, where we had consolidation. So we don't spike right away, and I anticipate the same thing to happen right now. We're not going to go higher than 70K or much more than 75K at least right after the halving. I think it's going to take some time. Maybe we get a quick pump in the beginning, but then it's going to correct itself, in my opinion, and I think we're going to see some form of consolidation for quite some time, for many months to come, before we go a little bit higher, because that's been the case in prior bull runs. And the ETF flow is still running high demand, so I don't think Bitcoin is going to have as much of a dip as it has in prior bear markets, where it has gone down significantly from the all-time high. I think Bitcoin has become a more stable asset right now when we have the ETFs, and we're always going to have large flows of capital going into BTC that we haven't really had before with the institutionalized backing that we have right now. So I don't think even if we reach like 120k at the peak of the bull run of BTC, I don't think it's going to have as much of a correction as we've had in the past. Where in the past, you know, it's gone from like, went from like 69k where it peaked all the way down to I think it was 16k at the bottom of the bear market in like January 2023 or something like that, or December 2022. I don't think that's going to happen anymore with the ETF flows and with the constant demand that is going to be for BTC. More and more people are realizing that BTC is a future asset to hold for the long run, because it's one of those things that, you know, it's in the top 15 of total market cap in all the assets all around the world, and it has survived through many market cycles, and it keeps performing. And through all the doubt, through all the FUD, it keeps performing and it keeps reaching new all-time highs. It's one of those assets that will always perform in the long run in the larger scheme of things. So I think more and more people are realizing that, and with the ETF flows and with the institutions backing BTC, like BlackRock and other larger institutions, we're not going to see BTC like reaching these big dips as it has in the past, in past bear markets. So I want to just show you what I was talking about with the BTC chart. So this is the weekly chart on the BTC, as you can see. And what I want to highlight is the prior halvings and the prior bull markets. As you can see here, here is where we had the halving of the 2016 cycle. So I think it was like July 2016. And then 525 days after, we had the peak of the bull run and peak of BTC before we went into the bear market and consolidated for years. Then in 2020, I think this was May 2020, May 11th, 2020, we had the halving. And as you can see, there's a large consolidation after the halving. So I don't know exactly how many days this is. I would think it's like 100 days of quite some time of consolidation after the halving. The same thing happened here, but this was even longer. So we don't see a spike right after the halving. We will have some consolidation here as well, because, sorry, here, the fuck am I pointing at? We will have some consolidation here as well, probably for even longer, or maybe not. We'll see, I don't know. This is a very different cycle because we haven't had ETFs before. But here we had at least 100 days of consolidation, and here we had probably over 300 days of long consolidation, at least up until this point, possibly even more, maybe even up to 400 days if you look at the total span of this. So consolidation is inevitable after the halving. And as you can see, halving after, or the peak after the halving was 525 days here and 560 days here. I don't think it's going to be the same for the next halving. I think this number here is going to be dramatically shorter, possibly even cut in half. Again, it's impossible to tell, but I don't think we're going to have 500 to 600 days after the halving where we reach the peak. Because again, we haven't had an all-time high before a halving, and I would say the main movement of BTC is already priced in. But yeah, I mean, like, again, the question is Bitcoin undeniable at this point? I would say yes. Bitcoin is undeniable. I think less and less people will fade Bitcoin at the end of this bull run, or at least during this bull run as well. More and more people are realizing that Bitcoin is an asset that's worth holding. Even Ethereum and Solana is also starting to get up there. But Solana has a lot of network congestion right now, and it's being very slow. It can't handle the amount of volume and traffic it's receiving. So we'll see how Solana performs long term. But more and more people are at least realizing that Bitcoin is undeniable, and even more people will realize this at the end of the bull run. But I suspect the same thing to happen, that when Bitcoin has its large correction as the bear market approaches, I think more and more people will have FUD, and they will start feeling the same way about Bitcoin as they did in the past. Very few will actually accumulate during the bear market. It's very few people actually accumulate during a bear market. Most people are not that smart. Most people see the bear market as the death of crypto, not realizing that that's just how the natural order of things are in crypto. We have the bull markets and we have the bear markets. It's a 4-year cycle, right? But most people during bear markets, when the bull market ends and all the assets drop significantly, they think it's the death of crypto, and it always repeats itself. We'll see if that's the case this year or not. We don't know that. It's probably going to end the same way. Or maybe Bitcoin becomes so undeniable that people know better for the bear market and actually accumulate instead of just, you know, having FUD and declaring the death of crypto. However, I think that's going to be that's going to be the case, as it's always been, you know, that people will fade crypto once more, maybe not to the same extent as it did this prior bear market, especially considering the FTX crash, the Luna crash, and all these things, you know, that really put the crypto market in a tough spot. But I still think the FUD is going to be there. People are going to declare the death of crypto once more, now realizing it's just the natural order of things, and that's how the markets go. They're not going to accumulate. They're just going to shit on crypto again. They're going to sell at the bottom. They're going to buy at the top, as they always do, because they're retards. And they're going to sell at the bottom when everything has gone down, because they don't understand how the crypto markets work. Crypto and stocks are kind of correlated. You know, they do follow each other, because when the markets are booming, that's when people are more like in a risk sentiment mindset. They want to take larger risks. And if the stock market is booming, the crypto market will boom as well. But still, the crypto markets and the stock markets are not really performing in the same manner. With the stock markets, we always see it going up year after year. There is no bear market there. But with crypto, we have bear markets, and that's just how crypto works. But I would say Bitcoin is undeniable at this point. It is. And more people are going to realize that. However, I still think, sorry guys, I still think the majority are gonna be in the same mindset as in the last bear market, where they're going to shit on crypto and declare its death. But as we've seen, market cycle over market cycle, Bitcoin is always reaching new highs, and it's gonna keep doing so. Right now, we've even had a new high before a halving. But it's gonna be interesting to see where this cycle is gonna go, because we've had an all-time high before the halving, and then the question remains, is it going to go way higher than it's done in the past, combining the halving with the ETF, or is it already priced in? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts about this. We can have a discussion about this in the comment section. Maybe you think I'm completely wrong about my thesis and about what I think about this, but I'm excited to hear you guys' thoughts about this. And yeah, I'm excited to see where this bull run goes and how this halving performs. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you guys for listening to me rant about this for probably over 10 minutes right now. And as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.